Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM22 story, The Head Coach, with me, Daniel. We're back today for part 55 and we are back for the final two games before the last international break of the year. We have scrambled to 40 points with Palace after a wonderful start at the club. I think the realities are starting to set in now. You can see in the top right the goals have started to dry up. And I think after that early run, that new manager bounce, we're maybe seeing, particularly if we lose one or two stars next year, who we've been without for injury for a couple of games, what might happen. And I think the truth is, staying up will be a miracle next year. With the current squad, if we lose one or two, and if we can't find something spectacular again, because we are in a little bit of trouble. If you're looking forward to seeing whether we can bounce back against league leaders Manchester City, who we did shock very early on in our spell at the club, and then Everton, one of those sides that will be looking to get above us before the end of the year, because of course the prize money for each position, it's nearly £1 million. It does make a difference to the transfer market. If you want to find out how we get on, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below for daily FM22 content from two long-term stories. A big heads up for a transfer special tomorrow at Hemel Town. It's a big one and I'd love it if you could join along there. There's also links to the Twitch channel for regular live stream, the football podcast for regular content, and of course much more up in the eye above. But a massive thank you for your support as always as we come back in pretty poor form, it's got to be said. You were here with me last time for transfer deadline day after a brilliant 1-0 win at Leicester, but I'm afraid the lads are only turning up for you guys on the cameras at the minute because that is our only win in the last 7 games. The goals have dried up massively. I guess the positive is we've looked pretty decent defensively, but where we've had games without Boyer, where Tyrese Campbell's not been in form, there aren't really goals through other channels. We've missed the likes of Abdul Qadir for a few games, Lanes for one. And it shows. We haven't got depth behind that front three. Let's have a look at the 4 games we've played off camera. A 1-1 draw at Brighton. Abdul Qadir got the late goal. A solid defensive effort. And look, if there's one thing you can guarantee in this world, it's that Brighton and Crystal Palace are going to draw 1-1. No matter what form you're in, no matter what form they're in, and how many divisions apart they might be, 1-1 is a guaranteed scoreline. We did then lose at home to Watford, which is infuriating both as a Luton fan and for the fact that we might have just kept them up, and they're a side that we would have liked to have seen gone down. But Tyrese Campbell got the goal in that one. And then back-to-back 0-0 draws at home to Wolves, where, as you can see, Tahar in the holding role, Grabara in goal, excellent players, a couple more knocks in that one. And then away at West Ham, a much better result. But again, no real goal threat. The front three were poor. The midfield 3 struggled. Tahar basically and the back 4 have been keeping us in it. So we're in a position where we're not in the best of shapes. We've got an easy-ish last 5 games or a suitable run in. Maybe bar Newcastle away, who are big spenders and doing well here. And if you sort of look at the rest of them, it's the next 4 games that are the problem. City, Everton, Tottenham and Chelsea. They are 4 very good sides. I mean, 3 of them are in the top 7 and Everton are starting to find their form. We're playing loads of our games on Friday nights, which is a little unfortunate because it doesn't give us quite the same recovery time. But overall, we're on 40 points and we're safe, and we're still remarkably sitting in 8th. I would expect that to drop before the end of the year. But given where we came in, and given a position we started at this club, we would have snapped your arm off to be safe with 9 games to go. So I don't think we can complain. I did, though, want to come to this screen to point out that after 29 matches, City's Erling Haaland has scored 39 goals. From an AI-managed team, I have never seen anything like that. Quite often you see stars and they don't get quite as many goals as they do in real life. 39 goals in 28 starts is an utterly insane record. And I'm sure he'll score 1 or 2 against us today. I think he did score the goal against us when we beat them just after joining the club. It was Almeric Laporte. So we're one of the very few teams he hasn't scored against yet. I'm sure he'll be looking to change that today. Hopefully we'll get a youth intake as well. We're looking forward to seeing if that's any good. I don't remember the candidate screen. Apparently it's going to be an excellent one. So that's something we can keep an eye on and something that may well just brighten up our end of the season. But let's go and face Manchester City. There's no point holding it up. We know this is going to be a difficult match. We know that Erling Haaland, we know that Phil Foden, Raheem Sterling are going to give us all sorts of trouble. And we know that we've not really got a squad that's in form, particularly going forward. So we're reliant on a defence delivering. We've got the most experienced squad we can probably put together. And we just need to find form. Tyrese Campbell's dropping off, and he has been virtually our only goal threat since we joined. Nobody else with more than 5 goals. And defensively, we're hanging on in there. So let's hope this 11 can do the same today. It's Grabara between the sticks, who's been ever dependable since we joined. Tete and Tyrick Mitchell, the fullbacks, with Mepham and Tormaina centre-half. Tahar, Boya and Castrovi, the midfield 3. And then Abdul Kadir, Diego Lanes and Tyrese Campbell, the front 3. All out of form, all struggling for goals. Let's hope today, in a miraculous turnaround, that will change. I doubt it. I think we'll look ahead to the Everton game, but at least hope we can keep the score down in the meantime. Well, no changes from our last game. City, what a side. Diaz, Ederson, Phil Foden, Sterling, Haaland there. That is one hell of a spine of a team. On the bench, still De Bruyne, still Grealish, Tariq Lamptey's there. Obviously linked with big moves in real life. It's a very good side, and City, while resting a couple, De Bruyne's the top assist scorer. He should be in the squad. They're still going pretty strong, and we're going to watch out for Erling Haaland, scoring over a goal a game. I'd expect him to add to that today, but if we can produce another miracle here, maybe next season won't be so bad. I'm already looking ahead and thinking, are we going to be able to stay up? Are we going to be able to compete regularly? What's Dougie Freedman going to do? Because he signed a lot of older players in the January window, and that doesn't help us moving forward. 5 minutes gone here though, it's been quiet so far, no shots, although City have got the ball at the back with Ederson to Ruben Diaz and Gomez. We would expect lovely football from Manchester City, playing over the top to Erling Haaland. That did not take long at all, did it? 40th goal of the league season, 50th goal of the season overall. The man is a machine, and with 7.5 minutes gone, I think that's probably game over, unfortunately. We will start dropping down the league as the season goes on, because if we don't pick up points, which we don't expect to, we are going to struggle as Ruben Diaz heads over. But as I said earlier, we're safe, and that is quite frankly all that matters at this point. Well, Grabara up with a goal kick, 18 minutes on the clock. We're playing out from the back, but City, we know they can press high, and are doing so here. Tahar's broken free though, up to Abdul Kadir. He's got a man running off him in Tyrese Campbell. That's a poor ball. Diaz gets there easily, finds Ederson. 1-2 with him. Out wide to the right back, Jose Gomez. Inside to Kaiser. And now they work down the right-hand side. Not really going anywhere, City, but we've seen this before. They love to keep possession and then just wait for the ball. And when Haaland's up there, you can play it at any point. He lays in Sterling. Sterling shoots. Good save, Grabara. Kept in by the winger. And tipped behind for a corner kick. Deflects, I think, off Tyrick Mitchell. But Grabara gets the final touch. And with less than 20 minutes gone, this looks like it could be a cricket score if City find their ruthless streak. Kaiser on the left picks it up. It's a good challenge, Abdul Kadir. But it is a clinging on job at the minute. And we've got nothing to offer going forward. It's a free kick for City again. Phil Foden 30 yards out. Lovely effort just over. 25 gone. At the moment, I'm happy it's just 1, if I'm being honest. Well, back with 33 on the clock. City playing out from the back again. We've not had a foothold in this game at all. Boya chases down, but it falls for the winger. In towards Haaland. Is he onside? If he is, you'd bank on him to set something up here. Sterling, back to the edge of the box. That is a wonderful strike from Jack Bremner. A beautifully curled effort in off the outside of the post. And it's not even that. It's the fact that he fooled the keeper. He went and whipped it to the far corner. It's unstoppable. It's 2-0 City. And his utter domination. We're finding this really difficult, but at half-time, against a side that have been so rampant this year. I mean, there's a good chance that Haaland has outscored our whole team in the league this season. And he's probably outscored a fair few teams. So to be only 2-0 with 50 minutes gone, when City are in this sort of scintillating form, and all but wrapping up the title, I think we have to say that it's an okay result. The points tally below first place is really poor, but City are just a one-horse race up there. As Sterling at the back post wins a free header against a 6-foot defender. It's not good enough. But thankfully it goes over the bar. It's 22 shots to 2, 8 on target to none. The expected goals tells the accurate story. So I think now we're just going to rest a few because the attackers aren't getting into the game. Castrovilli's not, so Sasser's on for him. We'll bring off Abdul Kadir, who's had loads of recent knocks. And John Morcio will get a run out there. And we might as well give the youngster Chris Tipple a go here. So Morcio will go to the left, Campbell to the right, and Tipple on his own up front. At least he's getting experience and football at a high level. That's one positive we can take from today, as Boya's got a free kick just inside the City half. What on earth is that? He's just chipped it to Ederson. Not within 10 yards of a Palace player. And Bremner's coming out from left back again. We don't want to give him too much time on the ball. His long ball is given away though to Tete. He comes over halfway to Campbell. Haven't seen him off the right too often. And he's given the ball away there. It wasn't the best pass in the world. Not filled me with confidence, I've got to be honest. As Ruben Diaz out to Radovic. Wide to Miranda. Through to Obsido. In he goes again. Obispo. 3-0 to City. 6th goal of the season for him. And I don't think there was a great deal more we could have offered here. The way we were cut apart was pathetic. The way we gave the ball away was poor. But this City side is just too good and it's forcing mistakes. As Mitchell picks the ball up at left back to Saceres. Back to Tyreek Mitchell. Got nowhere to go, so just plays back to Mepham. And look at them pressing. We can't get out. Morcio forced back again. Mitchell just goes on a run instead, but then forced to Mepham. And eventually we're back to the keeper. It's so good from City. And it's chipped down the right. Campbell flicks on. Bremner's there though, and it's straight back to Ederson in goal. We're going to see another one of these famous City moves, are we? Ruben Diaz at centre-half, into Radovic. To Kaiser. I think they've rested Haaland now. That's how confident they are. The ball's given away to Tete and Tyrese Campbell. Been a very long and not key highlight so far, but Campbell's given it away again. It's up to Radovic, who's in one-on-one, chips it in for 4. And that is 2 goals in a row where Campbell has given it away with 5-yard passes. We're going to have to berate the lads because we need better than this. I don't mind losing these games. I don't mind getting outclassed, but the way we've given away those 2 goals is pathetic. As Kumbula gets the ball at centre-half into Foden. Ultimately, we've got to remember this is not what our season's judged on. But with no win in the last 4 games, just sneaking 0-0 draws here and there, it's not going to be the one that fills us with confidence, that sorts the morale out. Though Tipple's out in, he hasn't scored yet since he's been back. That's a big, big moment. Chris Tipple, the youngster, gets in behind. City switch off for a momentary lapse. And Chris Tipple, for the first time since returning from his loan spell, has got a goal for Crystal Palace. I'm looking ahead to next season thinking, can we force a front 2? It's part of the reason I wanted to look at Campbell on the right, but that experiment won't last long based on today. But I like that. It's a nice consolation to get, and it's probably the only positive we can take out of the match. Into stoppage time we go. Manchester City 4, Crystal Palace 1, and in truth it could have been a whole lot more. An excellent effort from the host. They're going to win the title at a canter. And to be honest, we've just got to focus on the next one. Everton, far more realistic for us to get points. Well, 2 days prior to the Everton game, a chance to bounce back on the pitch, but before it, we've got some news off the pitch, and that is our youth intake, which isn't as good as it looked in the preview, and I wouldn't say is too standout. There's not really many talents, but there is one that looks alright. 1.5 star ability, 4 star potential, Dwayne Stultz. Now he's listed as a right winger there. Seems to be really common in this year's FM that they're listed for the wrong position. You can see both of those top 2 listed as right wingers. One's a number 10 naturally, and one's naturally a striker. So Dwayne is a striker. He's not the best finisher in the world. He suits being a winger better, which is maybe what they're getting at. But he's alright, you know, for a 16-year-old, only just turned 16. He's a bit aggressive. We've maybe got to get that streak out of his game. But he's not a bad player at all. And he's certainly someone who could make it in the professional game. Not the best personality. That'll have to be worked on. We'll have a quick glance at the other 2. That lad's not great. And then a Faroese player. I tell you what, if this was a one-club save, it would be great to bring for a start for a minnow nation. And that would have been the man. But nothing really stand out there for the first team. Maybe Dwayne will make it as a championship player, a Premier League player perhaps, but not going to happen in our time here. Let's skip ahead to Everton. No other news of note. And hopefully we can bounce back from that awful drubbing at City. Fitness test time. No major news. Look, to be fair, most of the first 11 have stayed fit. Bar that month at the start of January, that little injury crisis over the festive period, we've not been too bad here. Everton have got a lot of good players from other clubs. So we've got the likes of Jack Harrison from Leeds, Paco Alcacer, who I think's retiring at the end of the year, Tommy Doyle, youngster from City, good players. And they've developed into proper senior pros now. So let's have a look at what we're going to do with our lineup. I'm going to make a change in midfield. Saceres in for Castrovilli. He was our first choice before he came in, and he did come off the bench and get an assist against City. I'm also going to make one really bold call. I'm going to bring Tipple in for Tyrese Campbell, who's had a couple of poor games. and I don't want him to think that his spot's too secure. So they're the subs we're going to make. It's not a huge change to the team, but 2 changes. We're going as strong as we can. Do we go left back as well? 1 more. Teo in for Tyrick Mitchell. 3 changes made. They're not match fit, but they give us a new lease of life and hopefully a fresh bit of confidence. Well, Alex Iwobi still at Everton as well. He comes back into the team. They've got Livramento at right back. Ben Godfrey's the skipper now. It's an interesting side, isn't it? There's a few on the bench as well. Fornals, Onyeka, Selic. So it's a very good squad. And what they're doing near the bottom of the league, I don't know. But at home to Everton, we need to bounce back. We need to try and get some form of result because we don't want this season to end with a sort of a whimper and disappointment and constant thrashings. We want to try and nick results. We've not been the biggest goal scorers in recent weeks and we've not had a shot in the first 15 minutes. But we're edging down the table. But we're safe, and I've said it before. That's all that matters. Well, hang on a minute. We've just come back as the ball was going into the net. We've not seen a full highlight. What the hell happened there? We're 1-0 up. Look what the highlight, even on the replay, doesn't start when the free kick's taken. The ball's already on its way in the box. But Mepham does head in at the near post. It's 1-0. That's one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen. Even the replay isn't a full highlight of the goal. And you think, looking back to the City game again, some of the 90 seconds, 2 minutes of action we've seen that doesn't lead to anything in key highlights. And that time they didn't even catch it. But at half time, we do lead 1-0, courtesy of a goal we haven't seen. It was a set piece, which we're so often reliant on. And Everton haven't had a shot on target. So it's all great. But, you know, that was a bit of a weird moment as Mepham's doing his work at the other end now. Heads away the corner to Abdul Qadir. There's support up with him. Goes back to Kenny Tete. What he's doing up there, the right back, I have no idea whatsoever. And Iwobi wins it back to Harrison. Back to Livramento. It's a good right wing they've got there. But well done by Teo, who's come back into the side today. Had to be patient with us. Oh, nearly makes the mistake right on cue. His clearance deflects up into the air and Grabara deals with it really well. As Tormaina out from the back. Feels like this game's going at 100 miles an hour. Tahar plays a 1-2 with Mepham. Sassarès, wide to the right to Abdul Qadir. What a ball that is. 2 in the box. Tipples one of them at the front post. Across to Lanez. Livramento with a stunning last-ditch challenge. How on earth did that not go in? What an effort from the Everton defender. They've still had no shot on target. And we look alright in this game. It's got to be said. 25 minutes to go. We will think about changes. But for now, I don't want to make too much of an alteration because we look alright. As Iwobi to Doyle. I see Fornals has come on as well. Iwobi into Harrison. That's a super ball. Caught everyone out by playing it blind. Playing it back the way it came. And Grabara saves it. Thankfully it was straight at him. Rolls out to Tormaina. He finds Tahar and Sassarès. So unlock the defence a couple of times. This time goes wide to Teo and Sassarès again. Lanez plays into him a third time. It's a great ball for Boyer. He's been poor for so long. But that is a wonderful run. And a super finish from Celian Boyer. Sassarès with the ball through. It is 2-0 Crystal Palace. And I think the rot is stopped. We're finally going to get the win. And we're going to make a couple of changes. On the left wing, Lanez is going to come off. He's going to be replaced. He's going to South America for international duty too. So we want to look after him. Morcio on there. I'm going to bring Tyrick Mitchell on at left back because Teo's not match fit. And I don't want him to have to try and do 90. And we'll save the last one, I think 10 more minutes. And if it's still 2-0, we'll make a little time wasting change. Some very tired legs in the team. I don't think we've got a suitable right back available off the bench. We haven't. So do you know what? I'll take Tipple off for Tyrese Campbell. He's had his little warning shot now. He's been taken out the team. You've got someone who can come in and replace you now. Can he come on and make an impact? Morcio to Mitchell. Into the back post. Headed away. Abdul Qadir loses out to Fornals. Boyer gets it wide though to Kenny Tete. He's got support. Goes inside to Boyer. Finds Tete again. Is someone going to deliver the cross? We've been forced backward. Boyer goes inside to Tahar and Sassarès. To Tahar. To Boyer. It's good football. We're keeping it well. We look really confident at the minute. It's up to Morcio. Overlapping is Mitchell. Down the line again. It's not quite got the right amount of pace on it. Livramento able to get there first. It was just beyond the left winger. And it's cleared downfield. But we've been by far the better side in this game. And I know we had the weird moment with the first goal. But there is no doubting that we're deserving of a victory. And in the end, it's a pretty good result and a pretty good performance too. As Mitchell down to Campbell, that's a nice finish. It's another weird highlight, isn't it? Came through as the assist was taking place. I wonder if this is going to be ruled out though. Campbell is offside. The goal is disallowed. It stays 2-0. That would have been a nice moment for him. What a shame. 3 minutes of stoppage time played though. It is 2-0 to Crystal Palace. And I don't really know where that's come from. Maybe Everton are just really pouring out of form, but we've looked terrible for some time. And that level of comfort in a game has just sort of come out of nowhere. We'll take it though. Let's go and have a look at the schedule. To be fair, looking back at this game, maybe it is a case that having joined the club in 20th and got up to 8th, I know it sounds weird saying, but maybe it's just that we're not quite consistent enough. We've had a 5-match winless run. We've then managed to get a great result. But if you look at the list of opposition, next season, we're going to need more points than that from those games. Because we're not going to get those surprise results like when we joined against City. Now, we have got a bit of a worrying message here. Tottenham being linked with Boyer again. His release clause is 76 million, and if they're willing to pay it, there is nothing that Dougie or anyone else can do. Unless they can get him a new deal, of course. But I think Celian Boyer is probably going to be off this summer. My question is, when that happens, is the money going to be spent wisely? And that's what it comes down to. I've got to bear in mind as well, as we go and praise Mepham for his performance. Looking ahead to the summer, of course, it's not far away at all. Dougie Freedman, I don't think has got a new deal. He hasn't. So we might be without a director of football and a loan manager come the start of the summer transfer window. Now, Dougie's not the best director of football in the world, but if we haven't got someone in place on the 1st of July, that could be a real issue if the work's not already done. And we've seen before where there's been changes to that sort of staffing element, particularly in the recruitment team. It's taken a long time for them to settle in and then get deals done later in the summer. So I can't say I'm not concerned about that. I mean, he may yet get a new deal. It seems to happen quite late on with a lot of these clubs. But fingers crossed it will happen, or there'll be a replacement in early. Let's have a look at the schedule for when we're next going to be back. There's no point us dragging it out because we're a mid-table club now. So we're going to be back for the last game of the season against Newcastle United, the Moneybags. Of course, you saw a brilliant 1-0 win against them on camera over the festive period with no keeper. And as well as that, we'll have a look at the end of season review. We'll have a little bit of a delve into the players that are out of contract. We'll have a little look at some of the data hub bits and try and work out what we think our director of football will do this summer. So if you're looking forward to that one and you did enjoy this episode, a great way to bounce back against Everton after a poor game against City, please do put a thumbs up on it. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking for next season, because I am a little bit worried about it. I'd like to settle down and just spend a year or two at a club, because we did that at the start with great success. But I feel this is the team that could have instability, and next season, probably a bit like when we joined Bristol City, is going to be harder than the first one. So maybe if we get poached, it's something we can't turn down. Let me know what you thought of the youth intake too, and that issue where they're always picking out players for their less than natural position. Seems to be common in my saves. Have you noticed the same in yours? If you want to stay up to date and find out how we get on both at the end of this season and throughout the summer as well, please do subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back in 2 days' time with this save, but in the meantime, we've got our transfer special with MI Hempstead Town tomorrow. It's a big one too, so please do come and give that a try if you haven't already. There's also links in the eye above to the Twitch channel, to the football podcast and much more. And I'll see you next time for the end of the season. One that's gone pretty swimmingly, given where we joined Crystal Palace. I'll see you there.